and welcome to another episode of Drinking and Reading, Coffee and Weird Tales. So, I'm trying out a new camera. It should be better than just the phone that I've been using. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I shouldn't be drinking coffee at 10:40 at night. No, I shouldn't. But I am, because I feel like it. There's a lot of things I shouldn't do. Anyway, enough about me. Let's get straight into adjusting myself. I'm reading part 2 of A Question of Etiquette by Robert Bloch. Where last we left off, a young man is on some sort of a census poll, door-to-door thingy, jiggy that he's doing. He's knocked on a witch's door, she's taken him in, she's trapped him, and she's offered him tea. Could go either way from here. Let's see. And witchcraft, sorcery, it's no good anymore. So few people believe. They don't come to me for love philters or little things like that, let alone the big things. I haven't made a poppet for years. Poppet? What of those little wax dolls shaped like a man? The kind you stick pins in when you wish death... When you wish death upon your enemies, men don't hate anymore. They don't want a witch curse. I have not killed for years. Business has fallen off. Sure. Kill anybody today? No? All right. Let's close the office up. Out of business. Our business has fallen off. Just a tired businesswoman, a career girl no less. But my hand trembled so nearly I dropped my tea. Just like mine will later when I wish I hadn't had coffee. All of my beautiful spells and... But you're not drinking your tea. Yes, I am. The condemned man and his hearty breakfast. Eat your cereal, it's good for you. Drink your tea. Quite a spot. My head told me that I must drink it. Drink it to prove that she was crazy, or that I was crazy, that there were no witches, and nothing would happen, though. It took quite a bit of manoeuvring to get the cup to my lips. She watched me as I sipped. The tea was bitter, acrid, but warm. Foreign brew, but it wasn't oolong. It went down easily enough, except for that tart taste. I am surprised, young man, that you evince so little interest in my occupation. One does not meet a witch every day. She had to tell me. I'd like to talk about it, I said, some other time, but really, I've got a lot of names on my... Fucking pull yourself together. I've got a lot of... I've got a lot of names on my list, and I have to be going. Thanks for the tea. I kept looking around for the door. The fire made a sort of red pattern in the room, but not wholly there. The red pattern was in my head, too. It flamed and danced. The tea had been hot, and now heat shimmered through my head. Shadows mingled with the red pattern in the room, and they, too, seemed to invade my brain. Dark shadows from the dark brew of the tea. Shimmering red, the shadows in my head, before my eyes, blocking the vision of the door. I couldn't see it. I had the illusion that if I concentrated hard enough and long enough, I could find it. It was there somewhere in the room, somewhere amidst the redness and the shadows. It had to be there. But I couldn't see it. I could see her, though, quite clearly. Her nondescript features were stronger now. That grim, ironic smile held an ancient wisdom. She didn't need wrinkles. That smile was older than a mortal lifetime could engrave on a face. It was as old as the grin on a skull. Oh. All right. Yeah. Yes, I could see her, even if I couldn't see the door for lights and shadows. I must go now, I said. My voice sounded far away. Only her eyes were close, her eyes holding the red light and the black shadow. I stood up. I tried to stand. Once I drank 9 vodkas and in a hot tavern and rose to go home and found myself lying on the floor. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Now I had drunk a cup of tea, and when I rose, floated. My feet weren't touching the floor. They were resting on air, solid air, made up of red firelight, dark shadow, blur. My limbs tingled with something stronger than vodka. Little needles pincushioned my body. I weaved in the air. Don't leave yet. Her voice didn't notice my position. What? Her voice didn't notice my position. Her smile did. She understood all right. Don't leave yet, said Lisa Lurini. I have so few guests. You must come with me tonight. Come with you? I am going out. A party? Always the stiff upper lip, ready retort, mustn't realize where I was, how I was. Her smile deepened, yawned, engulfed the thought. Yes, you might call it that. And I need you as a matter of etiquette. Here we are then. You see, said Lisa Lurini, I must obey certain rules. Just as you, holding a dinner party, must not seat 13 at dinner. I've never heard that before. But I have heard that hotels don't have a 13th floor. However, someone told me the other day that they found a 13th. That's another story. Anyway, we'll get to that some other time. At dinner party, must not seat 13 at, yes. I must not hold a Sabbath unless there are 13 present. A full coven. He wouldn't like it. He? Dumbass. Satan. Again the smile. I began to dread that smile, prepare for it, like a convict lashed to a post, waiting for the next cut of the whip. And so you must come with me to the Sabbath tonight, said Lisa Lurini. Oh boy, it's almost like she knew he was coming. A witch's Sabbath? Exactly. We hold it on the hills. We have far to travel, so you must prepare. I'm not going. Yes, and a 3-year-old kid isn't going to bed when its parents tell it to either. I knew what good my I knew what good my protest was. When I wobbled there in the air, I knew it when I saw her eyes. She didn't have to emphasize it with her laugh, though. I was learning fast. An hour ago, it was lunacy. Now that chuckle crept up and scraped at my heart. Witchcraft, black magic, ancient dreads in a room of black and red. It was real, just as real as when thousands died screaming in the flames to expiate their evil in an age when men were wise enough to dread man's blasphemy before the laws of God and nature. You are going. Majit shall prepare you. Majit appeared. There was no door, so I don't know how Majit got into the room. I don't know exactly what Majit was either. Majit was small and furry, like a weasel with human hands, very tiny, and a face. It wasn't a human face, although Majid did have eyes and ears and a mouth and a nose. But the evil in that face transcended humanity. The evil peering out from a tiny hood of animal fur and grinning with a wisdom neither animal or human should possess. Neither animal nor human should possess. Majid crawled across the floor and piped, "Mistress Lisa," in a detestably shrill little voice that somehow shocked me more than any. "Mistress Lisa!" Majid was, what was the term, the witch's familiar. The animal thing given to a witch or sorcerer by the devil when the black Bible of the Sabbath was signed in the coven. The little fiend, the familiar spirit, servant of Satan. Only such things don't exist, save in the laws and the writings of every civilized nation for thousands of years. Such things cannot be. So it was imagination that crawled up my floating body as I wavered, powerless to move a hand against that hideous furry pattering that chilled my flesh. It was hallucination's tiny paws that began to rub my chest and throat with a yellowish... what? With a yellowish paste or salve Lisa Loridi gave it from a jar on the table. Okay. It was legend that chuckled and rubbed the burning ointment on my limbs. It was nightmare that perched on my shoulder, chattered in my ear, and lisped unspeakable vileness as it rocked with glee. Well, all right then. The flying ointment, Lisa Lorini's voice came through a burning wave that caused my tingling body to tremble. Now we can depart. I scarcely noticed her nakedness. Shit got real quick. The black hair swirling now covered her like a cloak or a shroud for long dead wickedness to wear. Her slim hands rubbed the yellow paste upon her limbs. Her body floated upward, joined mine. No broomsticks, I thought hysterically. From some popular magazine I remembered, an article on the delusions of flight. Witch ointment rubbed on the limbs to give the illusion of flying through space. Popular fancy had transformed the ointment to broomsticks, but the salve was real enough. Powerful drugs. Aconite, belladonna, others given rise to these hallucinations. Fucking hallucinations. Any chemist could prepare it. Run down to your neighborhood druggist tonight and it's going to be shut. No, and I had to stop that. I couldn't hold my hand. She grasped it. 2 electric wires met. Tingling shocks ran through me. We were rising. Was that a door floating out? Darkness, night, floating along? She held me. Superman, the cartoon character. Stop that hysteria! Up into the blackness, her naked white body curved like an... hiccups. Curved like the hiccups. No, it didn't. Curved like the ivory horns of a half moon. Oh my goodness. The cottage below, witch's cottage. Let me live in a house by the side of the road and, yes, very funny, and be a fiend to man. Hysteria again. Who wouldn't be hysterical floating through the air with a Sabbath hag? And Majid chittering as it rocked on her shoulder, its tiny paws locked in her raven hair. And then we swooped. I held on. The burning was gone now. The wind was rushing by. Below, the city twinkled. Cities always twinkled. Little lights, built toward the great blackness of night. The blackness where wolves howl and owls screech. The blackness where the dead dwell and the things that are not dead. Lights to guard, lights to hide of fear. And we above flying through that fear into its blackest depths. I don't know how long or how far. I don't know how we descended. There was the dark, domed hill and the fire flaring at its peaks. There were crouching figures, white against the shadowed hillside, black against the flaming fires. A horde of furry creatures scampering at the feet of the presences. There were 8, 9, 10, no, 11, plus Lisa Larini and myself. 13 in a coven. 13 and the sacrifice. I didn't look at the faces. They were not meant to be looked at, only dreamed. Lisa Larini's own face was masked by exaltation. It was she who prepared the sacrifice. The black goat... This guy who suddenly just roped into being part of it. It was she who prepared the sacrifice. The black goat was led to a rock before the fire. One of the other crones wielded a knife. The third held the bowl, and when the bowl was filled, all drank. Yes, I said all. Oh, well, I guess he just admitted to drinking blood. So I think we're going to leave it there for tonight. No idea where this story is going. But, you know, we know where it's gone. Young man is on a hill with a witch. She got naked. She rubbed some stuff on himself and herself. No. A furry little creature rubbed stuff on him. She rubbed stuff on herself. Then they went flying. So, I mean, you know. That's life. Alright, so that's part 2. I hope you're enjoying this story. I'm enjoying it. It's, you know, if nothing else, it's written well, of course. You know, Robert Bloch. Fantastic. Thanks for joining me. I hope you can join me for part 3 when we'll find out exactly where this story is going. I'm not sure how much longer we've got to go. Yeah, not too much longer. Okay, cool. Fantastic. Alright. Thanks for joining me. See you next time.